Greeting Israel, Judah. This is your brother DFG. Hey guys, I want to take a few minutes today and have a conversation with my brothers and sisters around what Abba Yah has been speaking to me about this morning for probably the last 2 or 3 hours. And it's pretty alarming. We've been talking, if you're following the channel or if you're part of the studies, we have been talking a lot about the changes that are going on this flat earth. We've talked about the wars and the rumors of wars, and we've talked about the intensifying of the hatred for Abba Yah's people. I'm to the level now that just to say that you're an Israelite, will cause people to look at you and want to bring harm to you. And then as you continue to look around and see the shift with the economics, bricks coming on the scene and bricks expanding at a rate that no one, at least no one in the West, could have ever anticipated. Africa becoming emboldened in all of its leadership. And if you've been following, and I posted a post the other day, and we look in our book, we see the word Mizraim. And of course that's taught to us that means Africa. But unfortunately for us, we don't realize that the maps that we see today are not the actual maps of yesterday. And they'll show Egypt as a small little, pocket, a landmass in the upper, I guess, eastern corner of Africa. But in all actuality, just like Africa was one time called Ethiopia, because it was, and it was called Libya, because it was called Egypt as well, because it was. And so when you look at these distorted maps and then you look at these names and you begin to think that, well, surely, when our book references us, coming out of Mizraim or possibly going back into Mizraim, they're not talking about that little place over there in Africa, one of 52 countries. But of course, if they change the dynamics of the map and change the name of the map, then we have something different to talk about. And Abba Yah has put upon my heart to warn my people, and I help them understand, yes, brothers and sisters, we definitely have something to talk about. I've said to my brothers and sisters many times before that, what's more valuable than gold? You are. And I know some of you are like, what do you mean? You're flattering me, brother DFG? Is that a sweet little rap verse, what I'm saying, that I can share with with my woman, in during the quiet storm music hour? Well, unless you're asleep with your heads in the clouds, somebody needs to take their foot, put it up your butt, and wake the hell up. That's not what I'm talking about. When I say that you're worth more than gold, brothers and sisters, that is a literal, actual fact. See this stuff right here? This pigmentation, this brown stuff, even it's in our eyes, if you can see those brown eyes. A little reddish, but it's brown early in the morning. That's called melanin. Melanin. If you were to go and look up melanin and ask a simple question, what is the price of melanin? Now, someone would ask, well, why the hell would melanin have a price? Kind of, huh? Can you grow melanin? Can you find melanin in the ground like gold? Well, they don't have to look in the ground when almost 90% of the population on Earth has melanin, some forms or another in it. But there's one group that has that real enriched melanin because their melanin is the original melanin. In other words, they're the people of our Creator, Yahuwah, Israel. And let me get back. So when you look at melanin, and I told you, and I said a moment ago, that it's more valuable than gold. Well, let me price it out for you real fast. You can look this up. Gold sells about $50 a gram. For a gram of gold, it's $50. For an ounce of gold, it's running right about $1,900 to $2,000. Well, gold is selling at $50 a gram. Melanin, on the other hand, right here, sells for $495 a gram. $50 a gram, $495 a gram. That's approximately $395 more you're going to pay for a gram of melanin than you would gold. Now you do the math, extrapolate that out. What comes out the gram, do the multiplication till you get to an ounce, do that multiplication, and then you get an understanding of your true value. So when your brother said that you're more valuable than gold, Israel, you are much more valuable than gold. Now, before you stick your chest out, or you start to stick your neck out, you know how our sisters can do and our brothers can do. Understand that your enemy is fully aware of that. You know, those enemies that our book tells us that's all that have a confederate among us, who are conspiring against us, who intend to wipe us out. Those guys and gals, they know that too, because that's where your brother got the information from. So of course they know it. And now when you look upon this whole flat earth, there's a shortage of gold. There's a hoarding of gold. Because as I stated a moment ago, the dollar, as you know it, the world's currency, it's done. Now see, if you're following this channel, you're following this group, you're up to speed on this. If you're not, well, that's on you. Obviously, you know, who won the women's basketball championship maybe is more important to you, or I don't know, maybe Sierra's new song. But those of us who intend to prolong our lives until Abba Yah comes to judge this wicked earth, oh no, we're going to stay current on what's going on. Because we're going to share information. We're going to search out information. We're going to go to Abba Yah for revelation knowledge. And then we're going to come together as a simple group so that when the shit hits the fan, we're ready to fight back. I know some might be saying, well, what does it got to do with us in the long run? Well, what about this? There's 40 million, if you add the so-called Hispanics, Latinos, you're talking about 60 million people right here in the United States with melanin. So let's just kind of step out and use our creative abilities. So if you have a country like this one, who quite frankly, if you look at Fort Knox to see if that gold is there, backing up this fiat dollar, well, don't be surprised that you might be in for a surprise. Because if you know anything about the financial accounting world, to keep everybody honest, there's a process called auditing. An audit. Checks and balances. Where you go and say, okay, this is how much you say you have, on your books. Now we're going to go over here and count what you have, and then we're going to match up what you have on your books to what you actually have, and we're going to see if there's a variance or a shrinkage there so that we can make adjustments to keep your inventory or your books accurate. Now, since the Federal Reserve or the Fort Knox, I think it's a place where they say, well, our gold, America gold, is being hoarded or held. Brother, would you believe that they have not audited that place since almost about 70, almost 75 years? That no one has actually been allowed to go in that place and actually count the gold and see if the gold that they counted is the gold that they actually say that they have in that place. So if you're not 70 years old, they haven't done it since you've been alive, approximately. So let's just say they have nothing to back their dollar. Now, this is what Abba Yah is telling me. So I'm into the message now. We're going to go to the word. You know that. If they don't have gold and the world doesn't want dollars, then what do you have that's valuable that the world could possibly want? Think about it. Okay, you don't have gold, but your country is full of melanin, and everybody knows about all the melanin you have in your country. Not because Judah and Israel is here. No, because TikTok has been your auction block, and you let China bring TikTok in here as your auction block so that those melanated people can be marketed to the world on TikTok in the most seductive ways in the world, along with other little talents, because they're quick to throw that out there on TikTok, giving you little commercials, little clips. And now everybody around the world is lathered up, because I like to get me a little Israelite, you know, buck. I like to get me a little Israelite wench, because they are all talented, highly sexual, and they seem very, very, what's the word? They last a long time, for lack of a better word. I mean, they're bigger, they're stronger than us, so they probably have more endurance than we have. So TikTok, the Israelite friend, let me tell it, because we can't help but run to TikTok and just say everything and do anything and promote everything. OnlyFans as well. Now the whole world knows what America has to sell. You don't have my rent? Pay me. Because that's what the rest of the world is going to be looking at. If you want my goods, pay me. You don't have gold? What do you have that's of value? Well, we got some melanin. It's been on the market for a while. And you know it's good. It's the best melanin in the world. It's not the cheap stuff. It lasts. It's endurable. Many things. Remember Henrietta Lacks with the melanin that we have, the genes that they have. I mean, you can cure most of the diseases of the world. You can eat it or drink it and get stronger. We've been testing it to you because, there's a little, a place of sacrifice that we created with remember Miss Margaret Margaret Sanger. You remember her? The one who taught the Germans about eugenics. The one who showed the Germans how to exterminate other humans if necessary. Yeah, her and her group. Her son is still around. Very popular last name, Gates. I'll stop right there. Well, there's a little place, a little laboratory, so to speak, where we got all kind of little guinea pigs. Some people call it abortion clinics, but we don't have to say that out loud. Well, it's been on the market for almost 100 years now. And again, you tried it, you tasted it. You're still living to be 8. You're living 80, 90, 100 years because of it. Right? So what if we tell you we got a whole lot more for that, where that's coming from? I mean, we gave you the golden egg or the melanated egg. How about if we gave you the melanated goose that lays the melanated eggs? Surely that's of value to you, isn't it? Now, my brothers and sisters, You might think I am conflating this issue. You might think that maybe some of you, Brother DFG, boy, he must have had a heavy dinner last night. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I'm doing my best to for me personally, to obey, the laws that stand around, how we should be living this week. Those who can. If you can't, Abba Yah has no judgment for you. So don't over concern yourself with. But there are some things that we can do. Some of us have done, and some are doing. So no, I didn't have a heavy dinner last night. What I got is a heavy dose of Abba Yah's word to warn my people that all of the stuff that you see going on around this world, these African leaders now who are becoming emboldened, and they're pretty much telling America, you either come up with something better than the dollar, or we're not going to do business with you anymore. We'll trade between ourselves. We'll trade with the countries that actually have gold to back up their currency. Yes, our countries have, the African leaders again, 30% of the world's reserves right here in Africa. It's just underdeveloped. All we need is to work with China or with Russia or Germany, and we can develop, these minerals, and we can all eat happy. But we're going to need some skilled labor. Because at some point they're going to realize, well, we're going to need some skilled labor. We're going to need some people who are used to, who understand, technology and equipment and very creative and durable. You can work them all day and sleep with them all night. Y'all got anything like that? Oh, why would you say that, Brother DFG, about the Africans? I've said it to my brothers and sisters again. If you were studying the book, you would know that just because they have melanin in their skin, they're not your kin. And if they got to make a decision on whose melanin going to be purchased, whose melanin going to be eaten, and in between them and us, it's going to be us. Just like when it came down to the first enslavement of our people in that country, on that continent. I've said to you before, Africans were not enslaving Africans, selling them to the heathens. The heathens weren't enslaving Africans. Africans were not enslaving Africans. That land that's called Nigeria right now, Ghana, that was Negro land, and that was the kingdom of Judah right there. That used to be called the Slave Coast. Right where the slave trade came out. How ironic, it came right out of where Judah was. And one of the most petroleum-rich, resource-rich countries is Negro land, where Nigeria is right now. One of the things I am committed to share with my brothers and sisters is everything that Abba Yah gives me to share that I can be transparent about. There are some things that are confidential, we don't share. But if Abba Yah gives it to me and says, you go tell my people, thus says Yah, your brother's going to tell it to you. And it doesn't just have to be, in the book. When Abba Yah talks to his people, he don't say, hey, go get the Torah. No, the Torah is for discipline. Torah is for customs. And the Torah is to judge us, to make sure we're walking upright and walking according to our laws. But we never told us that we didn't have to be aware of what was going on around the earth. And yes, we did do commerce with the heathens. But we were very careful when we were doing commerce with them. And he warned us to be very careful when we did commerce with them. So no, Africans were not fighting Africans. The heathen were fighting against the Israelites. They were enslaving the Israelites. But these lying devils want to tell you something different because they know our people, because we refuse to study or sit down and listen to the elders, to the teachers, to the prophets, that we don't know much. We depend on the enemy to bring us the news, which in and of itself is a huge mistake. You don't go to the fox and you're a hen and you ask the fox what you having for dinner and he's hungry. Don't be surprised when he say you. And that's the mentality of our people. We'll go to the heathen for information, and yet Yah gives right the information to right there amongst, in the midst of our people. He plant us, the teachers, the elders, who love and serve Abba Yah, the messengers, the prophets, the servants. But what do our people do? It's just like Isaiah said. They're very dismissive of us. Oh yeah, I saw that channel. Yeah, I know who that is. I don't agree with him. Did Abba Yah tell us that we're supposed to go around, brothers and sisters, deciding who we agree with or who we disagree with, and that's the standard for which we get our knowledge? Where's that in the book? Our standard of knowledge is supposed to come from what thus says Abba Yah, not my opinion on how I feel about what thus said Abba Yah. And our standard was never, our information was never to come to us from the heathen. But what do our people go for information? Right to the heathen. And what do the heathens do? They misdirect them, misinform, miseducate. Carter G. Woodson had it right when he said a miseducation of the Negro. Only he didn't realize he should have said the miseducation of the Israelites. Brothers and sisters, we're at a very, very dangerous, time. Because as the old saying goes, when the heathens catch a cold, we get pneumonia. And they have a huge cold here in the West. You can't hear them coughing. You don't hear the congestion. You don't hear the wheezing. The rumors of wars. Help you understand what I'm talking about. The earthquakes, the hurricanes, the thunderstorms, the tornadoes, the droughts, the famine. They get you in a cold. Which almost mean, without question, the death of us. If we just stand aloof, being tranquil, not paying attention, still chasing after shiny things. Oh, still on that auction block, TikTok. See me. What's that other OnlyFans? Getting used to being bidded on the auction block. Can I get $1 over here? Can I get $10 over here? Oh, the $12 back there. Can I get $3 here? Oh, to the lady over there for $50. Can I get $100 over here? Oh, to the brother over there got $500. Oh, can I get $1,000? Oh, yeah. Oh, can I get $10,000? The brother over there $10,000. Can I get $20,000? Sold to the heathen. That's what's coming. You think these people set this stuff up and let this stuff run wild in where our people had access to that? Especially when they had nothing to do for almost 2.5 years. The books say they conspired against us, brothers and sisters. He said they take crafty counsel against us. So they placed us at home, gave us PPP, paid us to stay at home, and then taught us how to use TikTok and OnlyFans to monetize ourselves. Now the whole world knows what you have to offer. And yes, they will buy you. Oh, brother DFG, they won't buy me. Oh, boy. May Yah have mercy on you if that's what you think. I'm too old. I'm too fat. They don't care. Melanin. But let's come over to some scripture to see, if what your brother has said can be backed up with the word. Okay, let's go over to Joel. Chapter 3. We're going to get through this pretty quickly. Y'all willing? Let's go to the book of Joel. Get your book out right now or we're going to have a problem. If you can. Right. Some of you are driving, you're at work, other things going on. Talk to you who's sitting around, you know that cipher is sitting right over. Go get your cipher or your Bible and get it and come on over here. I want to say it like that because you know how your mom, dad used to tell you when they tell you to come in this house and you still outside. They're like, if you don't get in here right now. But that's the way we were spoken to. That's why we know when it's nighttime, you come home out the streets, take a bath, eat dinner, and go to bed. So you can get up tomorrow refreshed and ready to move forward and be productive. So that was rhyme and reason to that. They weren't fools. The book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 2. And I will also gather all of Jerusalem. Well, let's go to chapter. We might go to verse 1. And behold, in those days, Joel chapter 3, verse 1. Behold, in those days and in that time, I shall bring again, means it's going to happen again. I shall bring again in that time the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, or Israel. I will also gather all the nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's somewhere over there in that landmass called Middle East, Africa. We don't know for sure because, again, they've changed all the names. And will plead with them there for who? For my people, for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among all the nations and parted my land, and they have cast lots for my people. You know what casting lots is, brothers and sisters? They're paid money for you or us. They're going to bid on you. Like you're an artifact or on an auction block. Can you say TikTok, Instagram? You know all about it. You were trained for it. They were trained too, how to utilize it, to estimate your value. But they will cast lots for my people and have given a boy for a harlot, and they sold a girl for wine so they can get drunk, so they can have their pleasure. Sex and alcohol is how they see our Yah's people. How we promote it? Sex and alcohol. Jay-Z got a new vodka, right? Lil Wayne has a rum, right? P. Diddy or whatever you call his name is that, he's got a vodka. And that's just a little, I realize that's a tiny little thing, but that's how they see us. They brand us with alcohol and they brand us with sex. Still don't think they're talking about reselling you and putting you back up for sale or bartering with you since they have nothing else to barter with. And yes, I'm talking about the heathens in Africa, bartering with the heathens in America, the heathens in China, bartering with the heathens in America, the heathens in Russia, bartering with the heathens in America, and everywhere else they were. The book said all over this earth. And you, Israel, we are what they're going to be bartering for real soon. And brothers and sisters, it's not going to be nice. You're not going to be sitting in the big house this time. Because I know you got some of our sisters over there. They want to get them a heathen so bad, they'll change their skin color, hair color, eye shape, and you name it. Because they want a heathen that bad. But guess what, sister? If that's your motivation, well, when the heathen gets you over there, he ain't going to deal with you in the in-house, the big house. He going to deal with you in the outhouse. Back in the old days, they called that the shitter. He going to deal with you in the back of the house. And there's nothing new under the sun, and they do not change. I don't care how much they flatter you and tell you how much they love you. Tonight's Bible study, we're going to be talking about that in the book of Jasher, by the way. There's a new number. If you've got your pen and you're following your brother, you can write this number down. That's toll free 516-597. Again, toll free 516-597-9598. 7 p.m. Central Eastern Time. 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you're in Mountain Time, that's 3 hours going to be, you got to do, that's going to be 4 o'clock your time. No, 5 o'clock your time. If you're specific time in the States, that's going to be 4 o'clock your time. If you're in London, then if you're 5 hours ahead of us, then 5 hours from 7 o'clock here, whatever that is, 5 hours in your time, that's where you'll find us at that time. The number's been cleaned up, so no more busy signals, all that's a total different number. We own that number now. Thanks to Brother Mendez. Like many of the other givers who support this channel, it's why we're able to keep this channel afloat. It's not free, brothers and sisters. It isn't free. But we're here because of those out there who give and share, because they understand the importance of why we're here. Let us continue. All right, so that's one precept. Let's slide over here to Obadiah. It's a book that we don't visit too often. The book of Obadiah. Obadiah, spelled O-B-A-D-I-A-H. Obadiah reads, "For your violence against your brother Jacob, shame shall cover you, and you shall be cut off forever." Verse 11. And in that day, this is Obadiah chapter 1. In that day, it's only one chapter. In that day, you stood on the other side. In that day, the strangers carried away captive his forces and foreigners, and they entered to his gates and cast lots. Again, cast lots. Cast lots mean they're now offering a price for Israel. How much again that melanin cost again? Upon Jerusalem, or Israel, even you were one of them, talking about the heathens. But you should not have looked on that day, or you should not have looked on the day of your brother in that day that he became a stranger. Neither should you have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither should have you spoken proudly in the day of their distress. 13, and you should have not entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yes, you should have not looked upon their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Now you tell me he's not talking about them heathens and how those heathens have treated us, Abba Yah's people, wherever we are on this flat earth. Israel. Casting lots. We are merchandise to them. I mean, 40 years of slavery. Well, if you count right now, the prison industrial complex, you got to go now. It's not 400 years. You talking about 500 years, 540 years, somewhere down. It's some number. It's a big number. And you don't know your merchandise. You don't know that's why they set up all these programs that allow them to easily charge us with some type of action or behavior or doing something that's illegal according to their laws. I'm talking about the things they've constructed that they push out in front of us or hold us to that they don't hold their kind to. I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about these other laws. How many brothers and sisters are in prison today for marijuana? And marijuana is legal in the damn state they're in prison in right now. Does that free labor could be an incentive why they're still there? I don't know. Ask Kamala Harris when she was the general, the attorney general of the state of California, when she said, "Oh no, we can't release these prisoners because we do. Who's going to do the work?" Yeah, your vice president. For all you melanated sisters out here who think she's one of you. You sorority gals, because she's a soror, so she got to be right. And even if she's wrong, we support our own. That's why it's called an occult. We get it. But let's go a little bit forward. And you can repent of anything. Just because you started in one of those fraternities or been a part of the Freemason, you can always come out. I know they threaten you when you do, but that's the price you got to pay for your lack of knowledge going in. So no one is judging you. We're just calling it out. Maybe you'll repent and come out. If nobody says anything, then you may naively think that these people, those organizations are what they would tell you, God-centric, people-centric. But they're a secret society, and you got to go through certain, what they call this, events, I guess, to become a part of them. There's a word that slips my mind, but you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a certain thing you got to do to be able to be accepted by them. First of all, to be selected, and then later on, you got to go through their I would call tradition, but it's not that word. And then if you pass through the fire, whatever it is that they do for you to become a part of them, then you become one of them. So yes, it is an occult. Or occultivism. That works better for you. Let's go over to Deuteronomy. We're still talking about merchandise here. We're still talking about these heathens fighting. We're still talking about the judgment of Abba Yah against this whole earth. We're still talking about how they're all going to come together to destroy Abba Yah's people, the valley of Jehoshaphat. We're still talking the same conversation here. Because this is what he told me to tell you. And he's telling me to tell my people, it's time to wake up and get ready. For all of you who have been sitting over there saying, well, I know I need to do better. Yeah, I know. He said, it's time. He's saying to me to tell you, it's time. So all that time you were waiting to come out, he's telling me to tell you, it's time. All of you were saying you were going to come in, he's saying, it's time. That's what he's telling me to tell you. And he said, if you don't understand you, tell them to look around. If they don't believe the word, then believe the action for my word's sake, is what he said to say to you. He said, if they don't want to take your word DFG, then tell them, I said, look around and look at all the events that's going on around the world. And ask themselves a simple question. Is America about to get squeezed out of the world's economy? And if America is squeezed out of the world economy, do you think your life is not going, the comforts of life are not going to change for you? Or especially if you're Israel, the most valuable resource they actually have, and they know about it, although they won't tell it to you. If you want to keep the value of something down, you make it seem like it's worthless. See, they call us worthless, bywords, proverbs. They ain't no good. They're this, they're that. Why? To keep the value down. Keep us from seeing who we actually are. But now we go around calling ourselves, I don't want to use these words, but the B word and the N word and the whore word. They've even got us embracing, the devaluation of our human existence. Oh, and set up these little places where they can give offers to their Baal god, Moloch, where we can just put our babies in their little places for them to, almost disembowel our sisters going in, and then definitely disemboweling their babies and telling them, now go home. You'll be all right. And if you need us, here's a card. Again, and again, for some. So since no one wants to talk about it, I said, okay, if they don't hear my word, then maybe they'll hear the signs of the times. But your job, DFG, don't forget, is to warn them. If they listen, don't listen, that ain't on you. But you had better tell them. And he picked the right guy for this job. I'm not saying I'm the only one, but he picked the right job because I love my people. So it's not a burden to me to tell you. It's only a burden to me when my people don't listen. And my people don't care. And my people hear and they don't change. That's burdensome. But to do the work, I'm built for it. But let's go over to the book of Deuteronomy. Chapter 28. But I want to keep this in context. Precepts, 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 precepts. Now there's a judgment against our people for turning against Abba Yah. And you will be surprised, brothers and sisters, how many of our brothers and sisters have no understanding of this at all. No one has ever told this to them. Their pastors didn't tell it. Mamas, daddies, evangelists, cousins, uncles. The drug dealer didn't tell them. The TikTok, Instagram model didn't tell them. Nobody told them. Nobody told them either, by the way. Nobody told them they were highly valuable, but not because they were shaking their asses. It was because that melanin in their skin with a little bit of dressing up and makeup and a little bit of sexuality probably got that price up a lot higher. If they're saying on their books, you're worth $495 a gram. Since they lie about everything, you're probably worth about $1,000 a gram. Just saying. Old saying, just saying for a friend. Or better yet, telling you as a brother. But as Isaiah say, people won't consider, right? He said, the ass will consider, and the oxen, the bull, not a bull, but oxen, will consider. But Israel, Judah, they're not going to consider it. They don't want to hear it. They're too busy living for the day. They don't care about tomorrow. Because somehow they think when tomorrow comes, they're going to be able to deal with it. That's what they say. I'll deal with that then. If everything's gloom and doom, ain't nothing I can do about it anyway. When they come with that fire, and they come with them knives and spoons and them forks and them plates, them pots, and you realize you're going to be dinner, you'll care then. You'll care then when they take your little babies away by they're screaming and hollering, you standing there screaming and hollering, can do nothing about it. You'll care then. That's for them who talking about it ain't nothing they can do about it. Nothing I can do about it anyway, so why would I worry about it? You'll worry then. What we warn, the days of Jacob's trouble us. And Rachel, what? Weeping and crying. I guess some of these Rachels will get off Instagram then. When they see them little babies getting snatched, theirs. But, see, that's what stiff-necked high-mindedness will do for you. It blinds you to what's coming. You're laying on a railroad, setting up for a picnic, and don't realize there's a locomotive coming around the corner, and the horn is broken. Again, for a rude awakening is what I'm saying. But let's go over Deuteronomy chapter 28. Let's start at verse 7. And Yahuwah will smite you with the blotch of Egypt. Now he's talking about for us who are in rebellion. And this is what I was saying a moment ago. See, they didn't tell us why some of these things are happening to us. They never told us why we would be a proverb and a byword, and why everybody would look down on us no matter where we are on this earth. If you're an Israelite, then you are, for the most part, being ignored, exploited, disrespected, humiliated, and slaughtered. And they gave us a comfortable word to fall onto when that happens to us, called racism. Well, they treat me like that because they're prejudiced. Well, they don't treat necessarily the Asians like that. They don't treat the East Indians like that when they go to other countries. They don't treat the Australians like that. The Russians like that. The Ukrainians, Uranian, what the hell, whatever the devils are. They don't treat them like that. Why is it only us who gets treated like that? You see, if we were to slow down and really sometimes ask the right question, then we would get the correct answer. But again, we go to the heathens for their answers. So they give us a little convenient word. There's racist, but all life matters. Black life matters too. And we need to pass some legislation one day. Some civil rights one day. Oh, I'm sorry, we passed it already, but we'll execute it someday. Well, what day? Well, we'll sit down and we'll have a forum where we'll discuss Proposition 42. That's the reparation. Okay, I don't want to digress. But that's typically the throwaway answers you get, so that you don't recognize that you're the people of the book, because they didn't tell you that if you're the people of the book and you're serving their gods, their customs, their holidays, their traditions, being a part of their fraternity, sorority, social groups, etc., that there will be a harsh judgment, not only for you, but for your peoples. I said that right, your peoples, too. But in order for them to keep it at work, they got to tell you you're not worth anything. And at the end of the day, you know, it's not our fault that you can't live amongst your brothers in peace. But we're going to give you guns and drugs and alcohol and churches and abortion clinics. You know, just to help you move along, keep you going, all right? We want to sustain you. Oh, and the most part of this food, these plants can manufacture. Stick it in your water, your chips, your meats, your vegetables, you name it, you know. Hey, what you expect from us? We're heathens. At least, if they were honest, they would say that to us. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 27. And Yahuwah will smite you. This is our judgment for not aligning ourselves up with the book and following religion instead of following the Tanakh and the Torah. I will smite you with the blotch of Egypt. And with tumors, you know, body tumors. You know, a lot of people have brain tumors, stomach tumors. Tumors, right? Cancer. With the scab and with the itch. I mean, the scab, in other words, with your hair falling out. The itch, whereof you cannot be healed. Yahuwah shall smite you with madness. That means out of our minds. Just flat out doing the most ridiculous, crazy things you can imagine our people will be doing. And we know some of our people are 100% guilty for their behavior. When you start to look at some of the things our people are willing to do for $1, it is ridiculous. To be able to go to the club, the things they would do to their children just to be able to get out in the night and go out into the clubs, what they would do. What they would spend resources on just to look like not who they are. What they will do, including exporting their own bodies. Can you say the auction block? Keep getting it wrong. Can you say TikTok? He's going to smite them with madness and blindness, glaucoma, and the astonishment of their heart, always afraid, always saying somebody trying to do something to them. And you shall grope at the noonday, and as a blind gropes in darkness. And you shall not prosper in your ways, and you shall only be oppressed and treated badly forevermore. And no man shall break this curse off of you. That's what that means. No man will save you. And you shall betroth a woman, and another man shall lie with her. In other words, this is supposed to be our women, and the heathens have them. Matter of fact, they're training our women not to want us. And the men too. So I'm not putting this on our sisters, but the men being trained to get passports and go elsewhere, the women being trained, there ain't no good ones. Go get you a heathen. At least he'll treat you right. He'll own you. You'll serve him. But he ain't interested in treating you right. He's interested in having you for his delight. His satisfaction. As long as you're meeting his needs. And if you ever stop, you'll see his hostilities real fast. Sisters and brothers, by the way. But see, there's another warning in there telling us about being with our kind, But some of us choose to listen to the Israelite heathens, 2/3 heathens, will tell you that doesn't matter before Abiyah. Liars. They are dumb, greedy dogs who just lie, and lie because who they lying with. Verse 29, you shall grope at the noonday, and as a blind gropes in the darkness, and you shall not prosper in your ways, and you shall be only oppressed and spoiled forevermore, and no man shall save you. You should be engaged to a woman, and another man shall lie with her. You shall build a house, and yet you won't dwell in it, called gentrification. You won't dwell in. And you shall plant a vineyard, fields, property, farms, and you shall not gather the grapes thereof, sharecroppers. Your ox shall be slain before your eyes, and you shall not eat thereof. Your ass shall be violently taken away from your face, and you shall not be restored to you. Your freedom. Your ability to work and take care of yourself. Or livable wage is a better way to say this. And then come up with all kind of laws that you do and stick their word called felony attached to you. So now you become worthless as far as being able to work in a workforce and earn a livable wage. They stick a term on you. They came up with this term, and they stick a term on you called felony. In other words, you're worthless now. You got branded a felon, like this brand. They created that, by the way. Nothing in our book says about no damn felony. These are clever things the heathen use to destroy our reputation and destroy our men and our women so they cannot, have enough access to the things they need to have. But he just said they will take your ass from you. Not literally. But then, yeah, literally. And by the way, the word is in the book. But you over there squinting. If he just not used them words, well, if Moses wouldn't have put it here, I wouldn't have said it. In your Bible. Verse 32, and your sons and your daughters shall be given unto another people. Didn't we just read that in the book of Joel? Your sons and your daughters. Your sons will be sold as a harlot, and your daughter will be sold for just buy me a drink. I don't want no scrub. Right? Isn't that what they taught our daughters? If you want to be with me, you better have a job. I mean, I'm not advocating you not working, brother, because man don't work, he don't eat. But they make songs about that, about us. We don't hear there are no country songs with no women over there talking about old country man who down on his luck, he can't have her. Hell, it's an ode to Billy Joe. Old Buster, he had a rough life. But one day old Buster will find a better wife. That's what they think about their kind. While you over there telling your kind, what did Beyonce say? Well, enough of that. And your sons and your daughters shall be given to another people, and your eyes shall look and fail longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in your hand. In other words, we're going to be taken advantage of, and there's not a damn thing we're going to be able to do about it. Oh, and by the way, just so you know why I'm in here, if you go to the beginning of Deuteronomy 28, brothers and sisters, it will talk about all the blessings that if we obeyed Abba Yah, kept his Torah, lived by the standard as our elders did in his Tanakh, the ancient ones who were righteous, not the wicked ancient ones, that he would bless us in all these things. But if we chose not to obey the Torah, not to obey the Tanakh, not to learn from the ancient ones, then these things would happen to us. So I'm sharing with you what's really going on. Racism is just a label they had to put there to keep us from turning back to Abba Yah. Because if you make it about racism, then you're just looking at him. But if you knew it was about Abba Yah, you'd be looking up for him. The only true Elohim, the Redeemer of Israel. Be clear here, the chosen amongst men. Your sons and your daughters shall be given to another people, and your eyes shall look and fill with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no energy or no power that you have to protect them, get them, to hold on to them. You're just going to be longing for them. And the fruit of your land and all your labors shall a nation which you know not shall eat it up. We work, they get rich. They start wars, we fight the wars they start. They get rich. And you shall be only oppressed and crushed in all your ways. It's called a feeling of hopelessness. So shall they be mad, so that you shall be mad for the sight of your eyes which you shall see. In other words, you're going to be thinking, looking around, and you're going to be constantly in a state of depression. Longing, wanting, desiring, needing. See me. Love me. Ain't I pretty? Ain't I pretty enough? You ain't see me on the auction block? Oh, I'm sorry. TikTok? Because I was the smartest one over there. Yeah, everybody else was idiots, but I was the smartest of all the idiots. Am I judging you for being on TikTok? No, I'm telling you, TikTok is exploiting our people, and I'm telling you it's more than what you think it is. That's what Abba Yah told me to tell you. I'm not judging you for being on TikTok no more than I want you to judge me for using these heathens platform on YouTube. But brothers and sisters, we got to talk about it. This platform is not used to push debauchery. TikTok is. It's so bad now, even these heathen Congress saying we need to limit exposure to this. This is getting out of control. Oh, because it was set for us, but their own children fell into the trap they set for us. That's the only time they want to do something about it. When drugs were destroying our community, they called us a bunch of heathens and wild animals and super predators, and they'd be locked up in the jail, caught to Joe Biden, and thrown away. Make sure they serve all their time, give them federal time. But when it came to their children, and drugs started to take over their children, it was a disease. It's a crisis. They just need help. We need to have understanding, and we're definitely not going to charge them with a crime. But that's okay. They don't have to charge their children. Abba Yah is charging them. And by the way, for you heathens, he said you're going to get double for your trouble. He's going to double down on you for what you did to us. Yeah, we're going to have to deal with what we have done. But he's not forgetting about you all either. Verse 35. And Yahuwah shall smite you in the knees. What they call it? Arthritis. And in the legs. And a sore block that cannot be healed. From the sole of your foot to the top of your head. And Yahuwah shall bring you and your king, which you shall set over you, and a nation which neither you nor your fathers have known. And there you shall serve other Elohims, Elohims of wood and stone. That's called religion. In all their forms of religions. If you're over there talking about Jesus died for your sins, he's talking about you. On that wooden cross. Oh, do I need to read this again? And there you will serve other Elohim, who are on wood and stone, or your church buildings. That should have cost me a subscriber or two. But the rest of y'all, just thumb up the video. That'll do. I'm talking about those who are aligned with your brother. Verse 37, and you shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations which Yahuwah shall lead you. Didn't I just say that a few minutes ago? They're going to call us every name under the sun. Coons, raccoons, bitches, whores, you name it. Said it right here. Thug, super stug, nappy head, hood rats. It's written right here. See, if we were in the Tanakh and you were in the book and we'll keep it, you would have known this, brothers and sisters. But y'all love you, because that's why you're listening right now. That's why you're here. There are no coincidences. This is a stop, drop, and fix moment for some of you. Stop, drop, and fix moment for some of you. Stop what you're doing. Drop down on your knees and turn your life around. Fix it. You know, get right with Abba Yah while there's still time. Verse 38, and you shall carry much seed unto the field, and shall gather but little, and for the locust shall consume it. And you shall plant vineyards and dress them, but neither drink the wine nor gather the grapes, for the worm shall eat them. That's whatever you try to do. You know what I'm saying? Every time I take 1 foot step forward, I go 2 steps backward. How many of my brothers and sisters feel like that? Every time you turn around, something comes up. Every time you turn around, there's a problem. Every time you think you finally got everything, got ahead of your bills, and here come more. Something else happens. The car breaks. The roof starts leaking. The water line burst. That's what it means right here. It's a judgment, brothers and sisters. It's not a coincidence. Yah's word is true. Verse 40, and you shall have olive trees throughout all the coasts, but you shall not anoint yourself with the oil, for your oil shall be cast, for your oil shall cast its fruit. In other words, the oil you have does not have any value anymore. The melanin does. But your light, dark. Your inspiration is in darkness. Isn't that sad? Our people are inspired by darkness. Things that would be considered by Abba Yah as evil and wickedness. That's what inspires our people. Our people are attracted to the light of darkness. That's what it means. Your light is out. Our people, Israel, attraction is to the light of darkness, whom the God of this world, or gods, has drawn them in. And now that's who they're serving. The God of things. And you shall begot sons and daughters, but you shall not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. That's what they're going to lock them up. And your trees and the fruit of your land shall the locust consume. And the stranger that is within you shall get up above you very high. You start a job, he starts a job, you're an Israelite, he's a Vietnamese, or an Irishman, or whatever they are. 3 weeks later, the opening comes, he's promoted, you didn't even hear about there was an opening. You train them, they became your supervisor. Or we all know those stories. The book is true. But see, many of you didn't know it was in the book. You said it was racism. Clever words. Not saying it doesn't exist, but it's a cover story. It's a throwaway word to keep people from focusing on what's really going on. The heathen is clever. They wake up thinking about what they're going to get and go to bed thinking about who they're going to get it from. Verse 44, and he shall lend to you, and you shall not lend to him. The banking system, of course. And he shall be the head, and you shall be the tail. He's the boss. You're the employee. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon you, and shall pursue you and overtake you till you be destroyed, because you hearken not unto the voice of Yahuwah, to guard his commandments, his statutes, which he commanded you. Us. But they want to tell you the Torah was done away with. Jesus did away with the Torah. Jesus fulfilled the Torah. Well, if he fulfilled the Torah, then why are we catching all this hell? If that's true, why are we catching all this hell? Because according to them, he fulfilled all this, so this was no longer in effect, then why is it still in effect? So you go ask them 2/3 heathen Israelites the same questions and watch how they start babbling. Or they'll go right over to the New Testament to try to justify what's written right here, to try to use the New Testament to disagree with the word of Abba Yah as it is written in its Tanakh. And they tell you that they represent Abba Yah, yet the gods that they serve, the heathen that they serve, use the same information to justify their behavior. I heard a 2/3 heathen female yesterday tell our people that we're supposed to obey whoever's in charge of us, no matter who they are. But I guess if you lay down in the bed and spread your legs for a heathen, what else would you say? Sure not going to lead our people to Yah. You're going to lead them astray. Because you don't hear Yah. They think they're hearing Yah. That's a demon pretending to be Abba Yah. And they're out there telling people, well, no, don't listen to DFG them. But what is DFG them doing? Oh, they're reading the Tanakh. They're reading the Torah. They're reading the apocryphal books. They're praying. They're having Bible studies. You follow me? They're bringing forth messengers. They're teaching each other to love and honor and respect. They're keeping abreast of current affairs. Well, now you know why they don't want you listening to us. Makes sense to me. But sisters, I can go on and on, but I'm just going to drop down just in the name of time here. All right? Because I think you guys getting the point now. I think you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth now. At least you should. I'm going to drop down to verse. Well, let's go a little bit further. Verse 47, because you serve not Yahuwah with joyness and with a gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. That's why this happened. Because we were taught to go before Abba Yah as though it was a burden to us. Because they taught us in the New Testament with their lies. They used that to keep us in bondage when the whole time we were always free. We were always free to serve Abba Yah. Go before Abba Yah individually. And when we couldn't, we had a messenger. We had Moses, Samuel, Elijah, Zechariah, Jeremiah, who could go on behalf of us. But they told, oh no, they don't count. You just need one man. Forget about the prophet. You just need one man. But the man they presented us had no hue in him. You remember? Because he wasn't Yah's man. He was a heathen. Verse 48. And therefore you shall serve the enemies of Yahuwah, and therefore shall you serve your enemies, which Yahuwah shall send against you, in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron around your neck, called slave chains, prison chains, handcuffs, shankles, ankle braces. Who came up with these things? Oh, I forgot the heathens. And who are our people serving? Oh, their gods. Well, no, we not. You go to any one of these heathen church and you're going to hear the same thing with all these people talking about Yeshua Hamashach is their Savior. It's the same message. Go in there and listen. You don't have to go in there and listen. We already know that already. They just took it out the church and set it over here, made him black, and said, now, crack is whack. Because they sound like a bunch of crackheads. Sorry, but not sorry. With that foolishness. We were all there too. Not anymore, praise Yahweh. Not in these last days. He said knowledge would increase. Isn't that correct? But let's drop down. They're going to fight for us. Right? For us. They want us. All they have left. They saved the best for last. Because after all, we were the highest valuable asset they have ever had. You can do anything you want to do with it, and you don't have to take care of it. Color purple. Drop down, 58. And Yahuwah shall bring you into Israel, bring you back to Egypt again. Ethiopia, whatever they want to call that landmass over there. He's going to bring you there again with ships, by the way which I spoke unto you, and you'll see it no more. And there you shall be sold to your enemies for bondsmen and bondswomen, and no man or woman will buy you. Again, mean that they won't care nothing about you. They will not redeem you, deliver you. No Jesus, no Buddha, no Allah, no Kali, no Krista, no none of Muhammad, etc. No one will deliver us but the only one, Redeemer, Yahuwah. And that's what he's saying right here. Our only way out is to come back to Yah, brothers and sisters. And that's what he said. That's what he told me into the dream. But he said to wrap it up with this. Go to Daniel. And I know y'all caught what I said. Them slave ships. Them ships going back to Africa. Again. I know we were taught that's this. Time will tell. I'm not judging it one way or the other. I'm just speaking it out as it was given to me. Daniel chapter 12. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which stands for the children of our people, who stand for the children of Israel, for us. And there shall be a time of trouble, which is right now, such as was never since there was a nation, even to that same time. The worst time that's ever in the history of man is here and getting worse every second. And you hear about it. But they're trying to distract you, so they're going to indict Trump. That way you're looking over there and you're not looking, you know what I'm saying, where you should be looking, at the financial markets and seeing what they're doing right in front of your, well, they're not in front of your eyes because it's hidden from you. It's not intended for you to see because they got you on the auction. I'm sorry. They got you focused on Instagram and TikTok. And what other social media prompts that they have used now to seduce our people. Oh, and religion included. For that group to say, well, I don't watch that. Yeah. But you still believe in their lies because you believe in their Savior. Again, Daniel chapter 1. In that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince will stand for the people, Israel. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as was never since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time your people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Now this is Joel 3:2 again, saying that we're going to be delivered from that final battle, that when they try to get rid of all of us, that 1/3 of us, brothers and sisters, Yah is going to protect us. But there's things that we have to be doing to get that protection. You know, Sister sent something to me on yesterday, was talking about Daniel and how Abba Yah, was watching over Daniel in the lion's den, and how he sent Habakkuk, from Judah over there to where Daniel was in Babylon to bring him provisions. But see, Daniel would have never got those provisions if Daniel was not being honorable and if Daniel was not speaking against religion and teaching against breaking the law, statutes, and commandments of Abba Yah. Daniel was faithful to Abba Yah, so when Daniel needed Abba Yah's protection, Abba Yah sent his Michael, in that case, Habakkuk, to keep him restored and held back the mouth of those lions. That is the only way Abba Yah is going to protect us, brothers and sisters. We have to be in full obedience. It is better to obey than to sacrifice. If you're not in obedience, you're going to go down. And obedience is come out from among them. Be used. You got no business over there with them demons doing what they're doing on their platforms, pushing their wickedness, selling darkness as though it's a way out of poverty. No, it's darkness. It's just going to get you deeper and deeper into wicked, soulless poverty where your soul is going to be on the auction block with your melanin as the incentive. That at the time, verse pick up, that your people shall be delivered. Every one are the only ones that shall be found written in the cipher. The only ones that are going to be delivered is the ones who are found written on the heavenly tablets because of their obedience. And they're coming out, understanding who they were as the people of Elohim, teaching, helping, loving the other Israelites who have come out, and being one with them and only focused on Abba Yah's Torah, Abba Yah's people, and his commandments. How to do them. Verse 2, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to everlasting shame and contempt. So that's another lie that was pushed, that everybody that's dead that you love, even though they were a heathen and they did not serve Abba Yah their whole life, but somehow when they came back alive, Abba Yah was going to bless them. That's a lie. That's what those camps, well, if you're an Israelite, you're going to be saved, because they quote some foolishness that Paul said that all Israel shall be saved. A man said that. How can a man say all Israel is going to be saved? And here is Michael saying right here to Daniel that many of them, Israelites who sleep in the dust, shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Go tell that to them GMS idiots. Yeah, I said it, because they said that. Well, all Israel going to be saved, brother. You don't know what you're talking about, brother. No, you don't know what you're talking about, brother. All Israel is not going to be saved. Some of Israel is going to be held in contempt for their actions right here, and they are going to be in eternal damnation after the judgment. That's what I just read. And unless you're too illiterate to read or know what words mean, then you need to really come out and come to your people so that you don't burn for the lies you are telling. Y'all and all the rest of them camps. But that ain't my problem, and you're surely not my concern, only to the degree that if you will listen, I will more than be happy to say, hey, brother, it's for you too. But if you're in contempt, rebellion, no, it's not for you. Why waste the time putting money in bags with holes in it, as the book says, or as the prophet said? And the wise shall shine as the brightness, and the wise, verse 3. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the expanse. That's most of you, my brothers and sisters. Hallelujah. And they shall be wise shall shine as the brightness of the sky, the expanse. And they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever. That's your brother. At least that's what I'm trying to do. That's why I'm here. But you, O Daniel, verse 4, close the book and seal the cipher, even to the time of the end. See, now the cipher is being opened again. The words are becoming alive again. The knowledge is here. Those hidden books now are being revealed. So that he allowed the enemy to hide them and tell you they weren't, canonized. He allowed the heathens to do that for a reason. Because he knows many of our people would be in rebellion regardless, just like the books are open now and they're still in rebellion. But as a witness to us, he revealed the truth to us that we might continue on the right path in these troubled times, in these last days. And that's why he's opened up the books. And that's why these apocryphal books now are filling in all those missing pieces that most of us will read and like, I just don't make, where did Abraham come from again, and why? Where did Moses get his rod from? And why did Abba Yah tell Moses to use what he had in his hand when he identified the rod that was in Moses' hand? So you mean to tell me Moses just didn't pick the stick up that was laying on the ground? You mean to tell me he actually got that out of Zipporah's father's garden? And that rod had been around for millenniums? And had already done and proven to be a part of many works of Abba Yah? Well, you didn't know that, huh? Then you're not listening to these videos, because we just discussed that. We're in the end of times. You told me to warn my people. I've warned you. He told me to tell my people, get ready for what's coming. He told me to tell my people, yeah, there's a gold shortage in America, but there's not a melanin shortage in America. America is full of enriched Ukrainian. No, what's the word? You know what I'm talking about, brothers and sisters. Uranium? Yeah, America is full of rich uranium. But that uranium that America is rich of is melanin. Because America has Yah's people. He has Judah. America has Judah under her captivity. And so Yah going to tear down as he deliver and bring the 1/3 of us out. Brothers and sisters, I did my part. I pray and hope that you'll do yours. Again, I want to thank, all of the contributors. I was talking to one of our dear sisters yesterday, and, she said something to me that resonated, in my mind, because one thing about Israel, we have a tendency to be petty, envious, and jealous, unfortunately. And she said that, we don't want anybody getting jealous because, some are helping and some aren't helping. And, when I thought about it and prayed about it, dear sister, you know who I'm talking to. I think you're right. And so going forward, I just want to say all of those who have supported, your brother, in this particular channel, this particular ministry platform, you know who you are. I know who you are. And most importantly, Abba Yah knows who you are and what you did. And I just want to say to you, it is much appreciated, very necessary. And I ask Abba Yah to give you 100-fold for being thoughtful enough to do it. And others out there who can, I hope that you at least consider. That being said, till we meet again, Abba Yah willing, we'll be on the Bible study tonight. 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be in the Apocryphal book. We're going to be studying out of Jasher. And from what I saw, some pretty exciting information, because it's going to expose what we already seeing with these heathens. And so if you're a heathen, you probably may not want to be there. You're invited, because maybe you'll learn something. Maybe you'll change. We don't care about that. That's up to you. But for Israel, they're awake. Open up your eyes. You know what I'm saying? Abba Yah is where we pray. Chronicles 7:14. If you have any questions about it, say, who do I pray to? So go to, again, Abba Yah's people, Israel, if we would humble ourselves, I'm just not going to quote to you. Matter of fact, let's say this, and then we're going to be done. I said, get it right, bro. While you're waiting on me, you can still thumb this video up. It's excellent. Please. All right. Guess I'm not getting up here for nothing, my brothers and sisters. Okay, I'm going to have to shortcut it. And go far back enough. Second Chronicles 7 and 14. Just so you know, I've been here before. Okay. I do study Abba Yah's word. I do put the work in. So supporting this channel is not putting money in bags and holes in it. I do. You're not obligated. I'm not saying that. Yah obviously will take care of that part of what you do or don't do. But I am here. I am doing the work. 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people, which are called by my name, this is how you pray, brothers and sisters. Because this question has been asked, and it's a reasonable question. It says, my people. Matter of fact, let's go to verse 12. 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 12 reads, and Yahuwah appeared to Solomon by night. That's the wisest man that ever walked over, King Solomon. Yahuwah appeared to Solomon by night, and he said unto Solomon, I have heard your prayer, and have chosen this place for myself for a house of sacrifice. If I shut up the heavens, shall there be no rain? Or if I command the locusts to devour the land? Or if I send a pestilence among you? He said, if any of these things are happening to you, he says, here's how you address this. He said, for you, my people, which are called by my name, if you'll humble yourself, because you got to be humble in this. You high-minded, you don't want to listen to nobody. Well, that's the way my mom, whatever. Then y'all ain't listening to you if you're going to do it your way. You think you right and Abba Yah is wrong, then, like I said about them GMS guys, they're going to tell us all Israel going to be saved. We just read that some of Israel going to be with Abba Yah, but some of the Israel going to be destroyed everlasting. And they don't want to deal with that question because they don't know what they're talking about, brothers. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. And I'm not being disrespectful or divisive. I'm exposing to Satan. I'm doing the same thing that Abraham did when Isaac came to his father and said, who is this young man talking to me, talking about you going to harm me? And he looked over at it. He said, Isaac, that is the devil. That's Satan. I'm doing no different than what that father did for his son. I'm doing the same thing for my sons and daughters and my brothers and sisters. Nothing more, nothing left when I expose them for what they're doing. The female ones and the male ones. And pray and seek my face and turn from your wicked ways. So you got to repent of whatever it is that's got you on your knees and that you're doing something, whether you acknowledge it or not, only get on them knees anyway. And seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. And then I'm going to hear them from heaven and I will forgive their sin and I will heal their land. But there's one more thing you need to know about that, what I just read. So he said you got to humble, you got to seek his face, you got to turn from your wickedness, ask him to forgive your sins, and then he'll answer your prayer. But one more piece has to be put with that because there's one more function you have to do. Because if you're not doing this, he's not hearing you at all. And this has to be called out, brothers and sisters. Because again, the heathens are not going to teach this. Proverbs, the same Solomon who was talking to us just now in 2 Chronicles 7 and 14, the wisest man on the earth, who told us if your people will humble themselves and pray and turn from their wicked ways and seek Yah's face, then he will hear them from heaven, forgive them. That same Solomon who just said that, I just read it, said this as well. You got to put the two things together. The book of Proverbs, verse 28, verse 9. He that turns away his ear from hearing the Torah, if you're not studying the Torah and obeying the Torah to where you can't obey it, even his prayers should be an abomination to Abba Yah. See, if you are not in the Torah, studying the Torah, living by the Torah to the best of your ability, Abba Yah says your prayers are an abomination to him. It's like the strange fire that if you know what happened I want to say it's Deuteronomy, but you can find it, where Aaron's sons went in there with a strange, fire high priest. They went into the tabernacle with strange fire, incense that they weren't supposed to have in there because that fire was not ordained by Ellen. It was blemished, or it wasn't right. It was unclean. They went in there with that fire, and Abba Yah killed both of them. They call themselves doing the work of Abba Yah, but because they were in abomination, Abba Yah destroyed both of Aaron's sons. So he's not going to hear your prayers if you're in disobedience. If you're not willing to obey the Torah, learn the Torah, be with like-minded people who study out the Torah and teaching the Torah, then your prayers are going on deaf ears. So then, now if you're asking how to pray, you can't pray. You have to obey first. All right, my brothers. Shalom. Some of y'all talk to tonight. Again, thank you for supporting the channel. Even if, just thank you for what you do for your brother. I'm going to leave it at that. DFG, bye now.